What's up guys, it's me Razza, and in today's video I'll be putting my design skills to the test in a little esports design challenge. The rules are very simple. I have 3 rules deciding the requirements of the design, and then I'll have 1 hour to complete it. As always, be sure to like and subscribe and leave any video suggestions down in the comments below. Now, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so now it's time to get into the spinning of the wheels. The wheels will be the team, the game, and also the type of card we're doing. So let's spin the first wheel. And we got OG, which I think is quite a nice team to have, to be honest. They have really good random. And now, let's get into the spinning of the wheel. Oh, looks like we got Apex. I'm not sure if OG have an Apex Legends team, but if they don't, we can just come up with some stuff. And the last wheel will be a victory card. Alright. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get straight into the design now. Alright, so just to preface this video, this is all being voiceovered because my audio decided not to work. But that's alright. So the first thing I did was I imported my characters, and I made sure to put the middle one in the front just because he'll be the focal sort of point of this design. Next, I picked out a font that I wanted to use for the design. Now when you're picking out a font, it's really important to sort of choose something that will stand out and give a bit of character to your design, because a lot of people nowadays are just using standard fonts and just stock fonts, and it gets quite old after you see the same org using the same font over and over and over again. So I tried to pick something that not many other people have used before. Now I started creating something here at the bottom as like a little info tab, but I ended up scrapping that later as I just felt like I'd used it a lot in the past. Now when making designs, it's always fine to take inspiration from your other designs when creating new ones, but try and make sure that each design you make is different enough from your previous one that you're not creating the same brand over and over again. Now I wanted to illustrate it here for a bit because I tried to create a pattern using the logo, but for some reason I just couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just ended up doing it manually in the end. But as you can see here, this pattern would have been made so that it's the same shape over and over again, which is increasing in size. But I don't know what was going on, man. I just couldn't figure out how to do it because I either forgotten or just didn't know how to do it. So it's fine. I just ended up doing it manually in Photoshop anyways here, as you can see. I probably would have watched a tutorial, but the time was kind of annoying me. So yeah. Now what I ended up doing was just adding a little bit of a gradient to the design, just adds a bit of contrast. And I also decided to add some camera raw to my characters, as it just sort of helps them stand out a little bit more and just sort of bring out the shadows and the highlights. Next thing I wanted to do was, I couldn't figure out how to fit everything into the design, so I tried to move everything over and play around with what I could have done on the right there with a little info bar similar to what I had on the bottom, but I just ended up scrapping it and making the character smaller and increasing the letters of the text, so it had more letters. And then I ended up just being able to make the text smaller as well and made more space for everything I wanted to do. So yeah, if you guys are new designers, one thing you always want to keep in mind is that your design will definitely change over the course of you making it. So just because you have a good idea at the start doesn't mean you're not forced into sticking with it for the whole time. So the next thing I did is I added some of those characters in the background just using a simple gradient map. And then I tried to do something cool with the text, but I couldn't really make it work, so I sort of scrapped the idea. Yeah, there it's gone. And now, let's see what I did next. Oh yeah, so I wanted to add this little laser, I think it's called a laser, a little line going through it. But it took me quite a while to get right, because every time I did it, it just felt like it was taking up too much of the word, and I didn't want to do that. So after a little bit of deliberation, as you can see, I think I finally got something I was happy with here, to where you could easily read the word, but the laser effect was still going through it, like that. And then I added a gradient and some inner shadow just to make the white pop out a bit more. Nothing too special. And then next I added some name tags for my people, just so everyone knew who was playing. I didn't actually know the names of the people, so I just kind of put some random stuff there. Editor Yuki, you should be sure to follow him on Twitter. He's a god editor, he does all my intros and stuff. So yeah, then I just added some simple lighting in the background. Just, I don't know, I felt like it made everything look a bit nicer. And eventually I added some text in the back, but it got deleted in the end because I didn't know what I wanted. Following that, I wanted to make like a little pattern for my background just to increase the contrast of what was happening there, because it felt really bland at the moment. Now, when making backgrounds, you can honestly just do something really simple. Like, it's not too important what you do. Like, as you can see here, I literally just did a bunch of squares in alternating colors and it still ended up looking really nice. Next, what I did is I needed to include the logo somewhere, because I figured if it's going to be, you know, OG Esports branding, there would have to be the logo somewhere. So I ended up making this little bit of a, what's the word, like a little presentation here on the right, I guess. And I played around with it a little bit. At first I wanted it to be bound inside the square, but eventually I just thought that was too many lines on the screen and I was not happy with how it looked. So I just did something small like this, just to give it a little bit of structure. And then I remember the next thing I did, I believe, is I played around with the sponsors. At first, I wanted the sponsors to be inside the box, but then similar to the way I felt about the rectangle before, is I just figured it wouldn't look good and I wanted it to be more free, and especially because OG have so many sponsors, I was worried it wouldn't fit. So I ended up just trying to make them all the same size. And then even then, I felt like they had so many sponsors that I really just had to change the whole layout of it. Because as you can see here, I was having trouble fitting them all in. So I took the 3 longest ones, put them on the bottom, and then lined up the other ones. And then I just attempted to make them all look the same size. Because what's important with design is sometimes they don't all have to be exactly the same size. What's more important is just if they look right. Because in the end, that's what people are going to care about. They're not going to go in it with like a ruler and make sure everything is the same. But as long as it's optically okay, then I think you should be fine. Now, I didn't know what color I wanted to make the sponsors at first, because at first I wanted them to be white, but then I figured there was too much white. So I found this blue and then I really liked it. So I ended up changing the main text to that same blue as well. And then I just added a subtle glow. And then at this point in time, I think I had around 5 minutes left, I'm not sure. But I thought I was done, and then I realized this is a Champions graphic, so I should probably add some sort of confetti to signify that it's really like a championship graphic. But I had like 3 minutes left and I was like freaking out. So I was fully rushing it and I was deleting stuff and I was adding gradient maps and whatnot. And eventually I was somewhat happy with that, and I figured I didn't have enough time to change anything. So I added this gradient map and I added some lighting, just a little bit. And then I figured I'd add one last camera roll in like my final 2 minutes, along with a little pattern on top, because I just felt that it fitted. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.